This 5-minute movie review covers the 2024 film Civil War. Civil War is written and directed by Alex Garland and stars Kirsten Dunst as Lee, Wagner Moura as her friend Joel, Stephen McKinney Henderson as Sammy, and Kaylee Spaney as Jesse. And of course, the President of the United States is portrayed by Nick Offerman. Now, the film Civil War follows 4 journalists, each at different parts of their career, as they cover the Second American Civil War. After starting with a bang, the movie follows the 4 journalists as they make their way from New York City all the way down to Washington, D.C., in what they believe to be the closing days of the Civil War. Because it is in Washington that the secessionist forces are expected to converge to overthrow the tyrannical president. So for the duration of this movie, we follow the lead character, Kirsten Dunst as Lee, and her cohort of journalists as they begin making their trek from New York City down to Washington, D.C. And between those 2 points is the war-torn United States of America. Now, Civil War does a great job of documenting this trip from New York to D.C. It truly feels like you are embedded with these 4 reporters. And as they go through their adventures and misadventures through this journey, it truly does feel like you're the fifth wheel. You're along for the ride. And that makes the movie quite enjoyable. Another great feature of Civil War is the pacing of the movie. In an homage to what real war looks like, there are periods of quiet and stillness where it seems like nothing is happening, only to be followed by scenes of absolute terror and carnage. And it's this building of tension and releasing of tension that makes the movie work. Now, visually, the movie is quite appealing. It's quite stunning in many of its scenes of graphic violence. There's a lot of intensity to this film. There's a lot of emotional intensity to this movie, and it does a great job, again, of trying to show and display the raw emotions that Civil War brings out in a society. And no other scene exemplifies this kind of emotion than the famous scene from the trailer with Jesse Plemons asking the character, "Okay, well, what kind of American are you?" I know when people watched the trailer, that was the piece of the movie that they were really looking forward to see. I can tell you it does not disappoint, especially when you see that portion of the movie in its full context. It is truly an emotional roller coaster. I think Civil War is a spectacular film for many reasons, and primarily those which I just listed. The timing, the flow of the movie is wonderful. The overpowering emotions that this film brings about, the acting and the writing are all second to none. My only gripe for the entire movie is that the end is just a little abrupt. And this is something I've noticed from modern movies where the screenwriter doesn't seem to know what to do or where to go with the end of the film, so they just kind of shut it off real quick. And this is the experience we have with Civil War. I'm not saying it's a bad ending. I'm not saying it's awful, but my critique here is it's a very sudden and quick ending. Having said that, though, I definitely recommend you go and see this film. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Civil War delivers the goods. It lives up to the hype of its trailer. A spectacular job by all 4 of the lead actors, Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, Stephen McKinley Henderson, and Kaylee Spaney. Also a nice job by Nick Offerman as the president. I wish I would have seen a little bit more from him in this film, but the main cast is superb. Everything about this movie except the abrupt ending, I think, is an A+. And I know Alex Garland had come out some time ago and said this movie serves as a warning of what we want to avoid in the United States. And I have to agree. Having a second Civil War is stupid and is completely unnecessary. And if you're interested in that kind of subject matter, I highly recommend you check out my book, The New Way, on Amazon.com, because it is written to prevent a second Civil War. So check that out, The New Way, on Amazon.com, because it jibes quite well with the content of this film. But once again, Civil War, I give a rating 4 out of 5 stars. I absolutely recommend you see this film. This is Kevin Newsom saying God bless you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.